Imagine this. You're in a room full of people, and someone asks you to introduce yourself in English. Your heart races, your mind goes blank, and the words feel stuck inside. You know what you want to say, but the fear of saying it wrong holds you back. Does this sound familiar? Many of us face this, feeling both excited and anxious every time we need to speak English. Now, picture something else. Imagine speaking confidently, with your words flowing naturally, as if English were your first language. Imagine feeling proud after a conversation, knowing you said exactly what you meant. That kind of confidence isn't just a dream. It's possible, and it starts with one simple habit. Yes, just one habit. A small, regular practice that can completely change the way you learn and speak English. It's not about memorizing thousands of words or learning all the grammar rules at once. It's something simpler but much more powerful. In today's video, I'm going to share the habit that changed my English and how it can change yours too. Before we dive into the habit itself, let's talk about the challenges we all face when learning a new language. For most of us, the problem isn't a lack of resources. There are countless apps, books, courses, and videos out there to help you learn English. But here's the catch. Knowing isn't the same as doing. Have you ever spent hours watching English lessons online, only to find that when it's time to actually speak, you freeze up? Or maybe you've practiced grammar exercises, but still struggle to form sentences in real-life conversations. This isn't your fault. It's a natural part of the learning process. The truth is, learning English or any language isn't just about knowledge. It's about habits. The habits you build around practice, the way you immerse yourself in the language, and how consistently you show up every day. And that's where most people get stuck. Think about how most of us were taught English in school. We spent hours learning grammar rules, memorizing vocabulary, and completing worksheets. But how much time did we spend actually speaking or using the language in real situations? Probably not much. This traditional approach focuses heavily on theory, but doesn't always teach us how to apply what we've learned. It's like studying the rules of basketball without ever stepping onto the court. You might know the rules, but you won't become a good player unless you practice. That's where this habit comes in. It's not about replacing your lessons or throwing away your textbooks. Instead, it's about bridging the gap between learning and doing. It's about creating a routine that makes English a natural part of your daily life, rather than something you only focus on during study time. Here's the secret. Small habits, done consistently, are far more effective than big efforts done sporadically. Think of it like watering a plant. If you pour a gallon of water on it once a month, it won't thrive. But if you give it a little water every day, it grows strong and healthy. The same is true for learning English. You don't need to spend hours every day. You just need to make it a consistent part of your routine. And the habit I'm about to share is the perfect way to do that. This habit works because it focuses on active engagement, instead of passively consuming information. Like watching a video or reading a textbook, it encourages you to actively use the language. It's simple, adaptable, and most importantly, sustainable. This habit doesn't just improve your vocabulary or grammar, it builds your confidence. It trains your brain to think in English, making it easier to respond quickly and naturally in conversations. And the best part? You can start practicing it today, no matter your current level. Before we move on, I want you to reflect for a moment. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to learning English? Is it speaking, understanding, or staying motivated? Whatever it is, keep that in mind as we go through the video. Because this habit isn't just about improving your English. It's about helping you overcome those specific challenges and achieve your personal goals. Whether you want to feel more confident in conversations, perform better at work, or simply enjoy learning English more, this habit is your starting point. Are you ready? Let's dive in and discover the habit that can change everything. Stay tuned. And by the end of this video, you'll have the tools and motivation to take your English to the next level. Let's get started. Let me take you back to a time when I struggled with English myself. I wasn't always confident or fluent. In fact, I remember vividly the first time I tried to speak English in front of others. It was in a small classroom during a language course. The teacher asked each student to describe their favorite hobby. Simple enough, right? But when it was my turn, my palms were sweaty, my heart was racing, and my throat felt dry. I stood up, opened my mouth to speak, and suddenly, my mind went blank. I mumbled a few broken sentences, but nothing made sense. The teacher smiled kindly, but I could feel the embarrassment burning on my face. The moment I sat down, I promised myself I'd never let that happen again. If you've ever experienced something similar, you're not alone. Learning a new language, especially English, can feel intimidating. It's not just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about expressing yourself, being understood, and building connections. And that's where the fear comes in. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of being judged. Fear of not being good enough. These fears can hold us back, even when we've worked hard to learn the language. And for many of us, they don't just show up in classrooms or formal settings. They creep into everyday situations, like talking to a colleague, ordering food at a restaurant, or even saying hello to a stranger. For years, I let these fears control me. I avoided speaking English whenever I could. I relied on others to translate for me or used hand gestures to get by. But deep down, I knew I couldn't keep avoiding it. I wanted to connect with people, explore new opportunities, and feel proud of myself. And that's when I realized something important. The turning point came when I stopped waiting for the perfect moment to feel confident and started taking small actions to build that confidence instead. At first, it was uncomfortable. I stumbled over words, made plenty of mistakes, and felt awkward more times than I can count. But each time I practiced, I got a little better. It wasn't about becoming perfect overnight. It was about showing up every day and trying. Slowly but surely, I started to notice changes. Words came more easily. Sentences flowed more naturally. And most importantly, I began to enjoy speaking English instead of fearing it. I'm sharing this with you because I know how frustrating and overwhelming it can feel when you're stuck. Maybe you've tried learning English before, but didn't see the progress you wanted. Or maybe you feel like no matter how hard you try, you'll never be good enough. But here's the truth. Progress doesn't happen all at once. It happens little by little, one step at a time. And the good news is, you don't have to do it alone. I've been where you are, and I'm here to help you take that first step. The habit I'm about to share with you is what made all the difference in my journey. It's not complicated, expensive, or time-consuming. In fact, it's something you can start doing right now, no matter where you are or what level you're at. When I first started practicing this habit, I didn't think it would work. It seemed too simple to make a big impact. But as I stuck with it, I noticed something amazing. Not only did my English improve, but my confidence grew too. I found myself speaking up in situations where I'd normally stay quiet. I started enjoying conversations instead of dreading them. And the best part? This habit isn't just about speaking. It's about building a strong foundation in all areas of English: listening, reading, writing, and thinking. It's like planting a seed that grows into a tree, with roots spreading deep and branches reaching high. One of the moments that confirmed this habit was working for me happened during a trip abroad. I was traveling with friends, and we got lost in a busy city. Normally, I would have stayed in the background, letting someone else ask for directions. But this time, I took a deep breath, approached a local, and asked for help in English. To my surprise, they understood me perfectly. We had a short but smooth conversation, and they pointed us in the right direction. As we walked away, my friends complimented my confidence, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: pride. That moment wasn't about speaking perfect English. It was about trying, taking a chance, and realizing that I could do it. And it all came back to the habit I'd been practicing every day. As you listen to this story, I want you to think about your own journey. What's been holding you back from speaking English confidently? Is it fear of mistakes? A lack of time? Feeling like you're not good enough? Whatever it is, I want you to know that you can overcome it. You don't need to be perfect or have all the answers. You just need to start. And this habit is the perfect way to do that. Before we move on, I want to remind you that you're not alone in this. Millions of people around the world are learning English, facing the same challenges and fears that you are. The fact that you're here, watching this video, shows that you're committed to improving. That's something to be proud of. And here's the best part. You already have everything you need to succeed. You don't need to wait for the right time or the perfect conditions. All you need is the willingness to take small steps every day. When we talk about habits, we're referring to behaviors we perform regularly, almost automatically, without having to think too much about them. This concept is backed by research in neuroscience, particularly how our brains form connections over time. In your brain, there's something called the habit loop. It's a three-part process. Cue. Something triggers the habit, e.g., hearing someone speak English. Routine. The habit itself, e.g., practicing speaking, listening, or writing. Reward. The benefit you get from completing the habit, e.g., improved communication, confidence, or satisfaction. When you repeat this loop over and over, the habit becomes ingrained. Think of it like walking a trail through a forest. The more you walk the path, the clearer and easier it becomes. Similarly, every time you practice a small habit related to English, you're carving a stronger pathway in your brain, making the skill more natural and automatic. Now let's step back and ask, why is English so important in today's world? It's not just another language. It's the global language of connection. From business meetings and academic research to travel and entertainment, English opens doors to countless opportunities. Consider these statistics. Over 1.5 billion people are learning English worldwide. 80% of online content is written in English. It's the official or dominant language in more than 60 countries and used as a second language in many others. This means that whether you want to connect with new people, advance your career, or simply enjoy global media, English is your gateway. But learning English isn't just about meeting external demands. It's also about personal growth. One of the biggest challenges for English learners is confidence. You might know all the right words, but when it comes time to use them, doubt creeps in. Here's where habits play a crucial role. When you practice something small but meaningful every day, you build muscle memory not just in your brain, but in your confidence. Imagine waking up each morning and dedicating just 10 minutes to speaking aloud in English, no matter how simple the sentence is. At first, it might feel awkward, but over time, those 10 minutes add up. By the end of a month, you've spent 5 hours actively improving your fluency. By the end of a year, it's over 60 hours. But more importantly, you've trained yourself to show up consistently, which proves to your brain that you're capable. This consistent action rewires not just your skills, but your belief in yourself. The idea of small, consistent habits changing lives isn't new. Throughout history, we see examples of people who achieved great things by starting with small, deliberate actions. One famous example is Benjamin Franklin, who was not only one of America's founding fathers, but also an accomplished writer, scientist, and inventor. Franklin was an early believer in the power of habits. He created a system for self-improvement that focused on practicing one virtue, such as clarity or perseverance, each week. By breaking big goals into manageable steps, he was able to achieve extraordinary things. And his method can apply to language learning too. In the same way, building your English fluency doesn't require giant leaps. It's about focusing on one small action at a time, like practicing new vocabulary daily, reading a paragraph aloud, or writing one sentence. In many cultures, there's an emphasis on the idea of practice leading to mastery. In Japan, this concept is called Kaizen, which means continuous improvement through small, incremental changes. Kaizen isn't about perfection, it's about progress. For example, imagine learning to play a musical instrument. You don't master a song in one day. Instead, you practice scales, repeat challenging parts, and improve gradually. The same principle applies to English. By focusing on small habits every day, like reading a graded reader or speaking with a friend, you create steady improvement that builds over time. On the flip side, let's consider what happens when we don't focus on habits. Without consistency, progress becomes slow and frustrating. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. You study English for a few weeks, feel motivated, and then stop because life gets busy or you don't see immediate results. But the truth is, learning a language is like maintaining a plant. If you only water it occasionally, it won't grow. However, if you give it just a little water every day, you'll soon see green leaves and flowers blooming. Let me share a story about a friend of mine, Anna. Anna moved to a new country where English was the primary language, but she struggled to keep up in conversations. She felt embarrassed about her accent and often avoided speaking altogether. One day, Anna decided to try something different. She committed to spending 15 minutes every morning practicing English. Some days, she read aloud from a book. Other days, she listened to podcasts and repeated what she heard. It wasn't easy at first. There were plenty of mistakes, but she kept going. After 6 months, the results were incredible. Anna wasn't just speaking more fluently. She was also participating in group conversations, making friends, and even giving short presentations at work. The key to her success wasn't just practice. It was the habit of practicing consistently. One of the tools that helped me and others like Anna build better English habits is graded readers, books designed for language learners. These books are written with simplified vocabulary and sentence structures, making them perfect for developing fluency without feeling overwhelmed. When you read a graded reader, you're practicing multiple skills at once. Reading comprehension, you learn how sentences flow and words connect. Vocabulary building, new words are introduced in context, making them easier to remember. Pronunciation and fluency, reading aloud helps you develop confidence in speaking. And here's the best part. Graded readers make the process fun. They're often written as engaging stories, so you're not just learning, you're also enjoying the journey. With all the tools and resources available today, like online courses, apps, podcasts, and books, there's never been a better time to build strong English habits. You have everything you need at your fingertips, but the key is to start small. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do everything at once. Instead, focus on one habit you can commit to daily, like reading a page of a graded reader or practicing vocabulary for 10 minutes. The habit that changed my English, and can change yours too, is immersive daily engagement. This means interacting with English every day, even in small amounts, in ways that feel natural and enjoyable. Here's the magic of this habit. You don't need to spend hours studying grammar rules or memorizing word lists. Instead, you focus on consistently exposing yourself to English in real, meaningful contexts. The key is creating a daily connection with the language, whether it's through reading, listening, speaking, or writing. Think of it like brushing your teeth. It's not something you do for hours at a time. It's something you do every day without fail. Over time, these small actions add up to a lifetime of healthy teeth. The same principle applies to learning English. Immersive daily engagement works because it taps into how the human brain learns naturally. Our brains are wired to recognize patterns, adapt to new environments, and grow through repetition. When you surround yourself with English, you're giving your brain the raw material it needs to build fluency. Let's break down why this approach is so effective. Repetition strengthens memory. Every time you encounter a word, phrase, or sentence structure, your brain strengthens its memory of it. The more often you hear or see the same patterns, the more natural they become. Context improves understanding. When you learn English in context, through stories, conversations, or real-life situations, you absorb not just the meaning of words, but also how they're used. This is far more effective than isolated memorization. Engagement builds motivation. When you enjoy the process of learning, you're more likely to stick with it. Immersive engagement turns learning into a fun, rewarding experience rather than a chore. Consistency creates momentum. The real power of this habit lies in consistency. Even if you only spend 10 to 15 minutes a day engaging with English, those minutes add up. Over weeks and months, you'll notice significant progress in your comprehension, speaking, and confidence. So how do you implement this habit in your daily life? Let's break it down into 4 key areas. 1. Reading. Reading is one of the most effective ways to immerse yourself in English. Why? Because it allows you to absorb vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure at your own pace. Start with graded readers, books designed for language learners. These stories are written with simplified vocabulary and clear sentences, making them perfect for building fluency without feeling overwhelmed. As you progress, you can move on to more advanced materials like novels, news articles, or blogs. Here's how to make reading a daily habit. Set aside just 10 to 15 minutes each day to read a chapter or a few pages. Highlight or write down new words and phrases to review later. Read aloud to practice pronunciation and speaking fluency. 2. Listening. Listening is equally important for developing fluency. It trains your ear to recognize accents, intonation, and natural speech patterns. Podcasts, audiobooks, and YouTube videos are fantastic resources. Choose topics that interest you so you stay engaged and motivated. For example, if you love cooking, watch recipe videos in English. If you're into technology, listen to tech podcasts. Here's a simple listening routine. Spend 10 minutes listening to English during your commute or while doing chores. Repeat challenging sections to improve your comprehension. Shadow the audio. Repeat what you hear to practice speaking and pronunciation. 3. Speaking. Speaking is often the most intimidating part of learning a language, but it's also the most rewarding. The more you speak, the more confident and fluent you'll become. Here's how to incorporate speaking into your habit. Practice speaking aloud every day, even if it's just to yourself. Describe your day, talk about your plans, or narrate what you're doing. Join language exchange programs or online communities where you can practice with others. Use apps like Italki or Tandem to connect with native speakers or tutors. 4. Writing. Writing helps solidify what you've learned and improves your ability to express yourself clearly. Here's a simple way to practice writing. Start a journal and write a few sentences each day about your thoughts, experiences, or goals. Try writing short stories or essays based on what you've read or listened to. Use online tools like Grammarly to check your grammar and spelling. One of the best things about immersive daily engagement is its flexibility. You can adapt this habit to fit your lifestyle, no matter how busy you are. For example, if you have a hectic schedule, focus on short, manageable activities like listening to a podcast during your commute or reading a page of a book before bed. If you have more time, dedicate an hour each day to a combination of reading, listening, speaking, and writing. The key is to make English a natural part of your day, something you look forward to rather than a task you dread. To show you how powerful this habit can be, let me share another story. Meet Carlos, a marketing professional from Brazil. Carlos needed to improve his English for work, but felt overwhelmed by the idea of studying grammar and vocabulary. Instead, he decided to focus on immersive daily engagement. Each morning, Carlos spent 15 minutes reading an article from an English language blog. During lunch breaks, he listened to podcasts about business and technology. In the evenings, he practiced speaking with a language partner online. After 6 months, Carlos noticed a dramatic improvement in his fluency. He was able to participate confidently in meetings, give presentations in English, and even make small talk with clients. What made the difference? Carlos didn't try to do everything at once. He focused on small, consistent actions that fit his routine. Immersive daily engagement isn't just a learning strategy, it's a mindset. It's about embracing the idea that language learning is a journey, not a destination. When you adopt this habit, you're not just improving your English skills, you're also building discipline, confidence, and a sense of accomplishment. You're proving to yourself that you have the power to grow and succeed. Before we dive into the how, let's address the why. Why is having a plan so crucial? Imagine setting out on a road trip with no map, no GPS, and no destination in mind. You might stumble upon some interesting places, but you'd likely waste time, energy, and fuel wandering aimlessly. The same goes for learning English. Without a clear plan, it's easy to feel lost, frustrated, or overwhelmed. A plan acts as your map. It gives you direction, helps you measure progress, and keeps you motivated. It's the difference between wishful thinking and meaningful action. Every successful plan starts with a clear goal. What do you want to achieve with your English? Your goal might be broad, like becoming fluent, or specific, like passing an English proficiency exam or giving a speech at an international conference. When setting your goals, keep these tips in mind. Make them specific and measurable. Instead of saying, "I want to improve my English," try, "I want to be able to hold a 10-minute conversation in English within 3 months." Break them into smaller milestones. If your ultimate goal feels overwhelming, divide it into smaller steps. For example, if you want to read a novel in English, your milestones could be reading 1 chapter per week or learning 10 new words a day. Focus on what excites you. Goals that align with your passions and interests are easier to stick with. If you love music, make it a goal to understand the lyrics of your favorite English songs. Take a moment now to think about your goals. What's one thing you'd love to achieve with your English? Write it down. It's the first step toward making it real. Before creating a plan, it's important to understand where you're starting from. Self-assessment helps you focus on the areas that need the most attention while building on your existing strengths. Here's how to assess your English skills. Listening. Can you understand everyday conversations? How comfortable are you with different accents or fast speech? Speaking. How often do you practice speaking? Do you struggle with pronunciation, confidence, or forming sentences? Reading. Can you easily read and understand English texts, or do you often rely on translations? Writing. Are you confident writing emails, essays, or journal entries in English? Be honest with yourself. There's no shame in having weaknesses. In fact, identifying them is the first step to improvement. Now that you've defined your goals and assessed your skills, it's time to choose the activities that will form the core of your daily habit. The key is to pick activities that are both effective and enjoyable. Listening activities, podcasts and audiobooks. Choose topics you love, whether it's true crime, self-help, or comedy. TV shows and movies. Watch with subtitles to help with comprehension. Then challenge yourself by turning them off. Music. Listen to English songs and try to understand the lyrics. Speaking activities. Daily conversations. Practice speaking with language partners or tutors. Shadowing. Repeat sentences from audio sources to mimic native pronunciation and intonation. Monologues. Talk to yourself about your day or your plans. It's great practice. Reading activities. Graded readers. Start with simple stories and progress to more challenging texts. News articles. Choose articles on topics you're interested in. Social media. Follow English language accounts on platforms like Instagram or Twitter. Writing activities. Journaling. Write about your day, your thoughts, or your goals. Storytelling. Create short stories or essays based on your interests. Feedback. Share your writing with others and ask for constructive criticism. Consistency is key, but it's better to start small and succeed than to aim too high and burn out. Decide how much time you can realistically dedicate to English each day. Here's a sample schedule for someone with 30 minutes a day. Morning. Listen to a podcast while getting ready, 10 minutes. Afternoon. Read a news article during lunch, 10 minutes. Evening. Practice speaking or writing, 10 minutes. If you have more time, you can expand each activity. If you have less, focus on one activity per day. The goal is to make English a natural part of your routine. Tracking your progress helps you stay motivated and see how far you've come. Here are some simple ways to do it. Keep a journal. Record what you did each day and how you felt about it. Set milestones. Celebrate when you reach a goal, like completing a book or having your first conversation entirely in English. Use apps. Many language learning apps have built-in tracking features that show your streaks and achievements. No journey is without obstacles. Let's address some common challenges and how to overcome them. Lack of time. If you're busy, focus on microlearning, short, focused activities that fit into your schedule. Remember, even 5 minutes a day is better than nothing. Fear of mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. Embrace them as opportunities to grow. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage rather than criticize. Boredom. If you're losing interest, mix things up. Try new activities, explore different topics, or challenge yourself with something outside your comfort zone. Plateauing. If you feel like you're not making progress, it's time to shake up your routine. Set a new goal, try a different resource, or focus on a weaker skill. Let's look at 2 examples of personalized plans. Example 1. Maria, a busy professional. Goal. Speak confidently in work meetings. Daily activities. Listen to business podcasts, 10 minutes. Practice key phrases with a tutor, 10 minutes. And write an email in English, 10 minutes. Example 2. Ahmed, a university student. Goal. Pass the IELTS exam. Daily activities. Read academic articles, 15 minutes. Practice speaking answers to sample questions, 10 minutes. And review vocabulary flashcards, 5 minutes. Why is consistency so important? Imagine planting a tree. You can't water it once a month and expect it to thrive. It needs regular care, sunlight, and nutrients. Similarly, your brain needs frequent exposure to English to internalize new words, phrases, and grammar structures. Consistency creates habits, and habits, over time, lead to mastery. Even 10 minutes a day is more impactful than cramming for hours once a week. Daily engagement helps your brain stay in language mode, making it easier to recall what you've learned and build upon it. The secret to consistency lies in embedding English learning into your existing routine. Instead of treating it as a separate task, make it part of your daily life. Here's how. Anchor to existing habits. Pair your English practice with something you already do. For example, listen to a podcast while commuting. Watch a short video while having breakfast. Practice speaking during your evening walk. Set a time. Designate a specific time each day for focused practice. It could be 15 minutes in the morning, during lunch, or before bed. When you make it a routine, it becomes second nature. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself. Start with manageable goals, like learning 5 new words a day or practicing 1 conversation topic. As the habit becomes ingrained, you can gradually increase the time and complexity. Consistency is essential, but monotony can be a roadblock. The solution? Variety. Mixing up your activities keeps your brain engaged and ensures you're practicing all aspects of the language: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Why variety works? Engages different parts of the brain. When you switch between activities, you activate multiple areas of your brain, enhancing retention and understanding. Prevents plateaus. Focusing on one method or skill for too long can lead to stagnation. Variety challenges you to step outside your comfort zone. Maintains motivation. Trying new things keeps learning exciting and enjoyable, making it easier to stay consistent. Here's how you can add variety to your learning routine. Listening. Podcasts. Explore different genres like storytelling, interviews, or educational series. Videos. Watch vlogs, tutorials, or TED Talks. Experiment with accents and topics to broaden your exposure. Music. Dive into different music genres, pop, jazz, rock, or folk, and analyze the lyrics. Speaking. Role play. Act out scenarios like ordering food, asking for directions, or attending a job interview. Language partners. Alternate between casual conversations and topic-focused discussions. Recording yourself. Record and listen to your speech to identify areas for improvement. Reading. Books. Alternate between fiction and nonfiction to expand your vocabulary. News and blogs. Read articles on topics you're passionate about, from technology to travel. Social media. Follow accounts that post content in English, such as inspirational quotes or travel stories. Writing. Daily journaling. Switch between free writing and structured prompts. Creative writing. Write poems, short stories, or even scripts for imaginary conversations. Social media posts. Practice writing captions, comments, or tweets in English. Learning doesn't have to be all work and no play. Incorporating elements of gamification can make it more fun and rewarding. Set challenges. Create mini challenges for yourself, such as learning 50 new words in a week, completing a book in English by a specific date, writing a story entirely in English. Track progress with rewards. Celebrate your achievements with small rewards. For example, after a week of consistent practice, treat yourself to your favorite snack. Watch a movie in English without subtitles as a milestone. Use language apps. Apps like Duolingo, Memrise, or Anki incorporate games, streaks, and badges to make learning interactive and fun. Even with variety, there will be days when you feel unmotivated. Here's how to push through. Switch mediums. If you're tired of reading, try listening. If you're bored with writing, practice speaking instead. Explore new topics. Step outside your usual interests. If you've been focusing on business English, explore topics like art, history, or cooking. Connect with others. Join online communities, forums, or study groups. Sharing your journey with others adds a social element that can reignite your enthusiasm. When I started learning English, I quickly realized that sticking to one method wasn't sustainable. I began experimenting with different activities, like watching stand-up comedy for listening practice and joining book clubs to improve my reading. One of my favorite breakthroughs came from shadowing TV show dialogues. I would pause after every sentence, repeat it aloud, and mimic the actor's intonation. Not only did it improve my pronunciation, but it also taught me cultural expressions and humor. Every few weeks, I'd switch things up, sometimes focusing on writing essays, other times on speaking with language partners. This approach kept me engaged and helped me make consistent progress without feeling stuck. Overcoming common challenges. Challenge 1. Feeling overwhelmed. When variety feels like too much, go back to basics. Pick one activity and focus on it until you regain confidence. Challenge 2. Losing motivation. Reconnect with your why. Remember why you started learning English and visualize the opportunities it will bring. Challenge 3. Lack of time. Incorporate micro-learning, short bursts of focused practice. For example, review flashcards while waiting in line or listen to a podcast during your commute. Let's start by addressing where self-doubt comes from. If you've ever hesitated to speak up in English, you might have asked yourself questions like, what if I say the wrong word? What if they laugh at my accent? What if I can't think of what to say? These fears often stem from 3 sources. Perfectionism, believing you must speak flawlessly before you're good enough. Past experiences, negative feedback or embarrassment during previous attempts to communicate in English. Comparison, measuring your abilities against others who seem more fluent. It's natural to feel insecure when you're stepping out of your comfort zone. But here's the truth. Self-doubt is not a reflection of your ability. It's a reflection of your mindset. And with the right approach, you can reframe these thoughts and build unshakable confidence. The first step to overcoming self-doubt is shifting how you view mistakes. Instead of seeing them as failures, treat them as stepping stones to success. Every mistake you make is proof that you're trying, and every correction is a chance to improve. Why mistakes are powerful. They show progress. If you're making mistakes, it means you're pushing yourself to communicate, which is essential for growth. They teach you what to focus on. Mistakes highlight areas where you need improvement, allowing you to address them directly. They make you memorable. Think about it. Don't you remember lessons learned from your own slip-ups better than things you got right the first time? Instead of avoiding mistakes, document them. Write down errors you've made, whether in speaking, writing, or listening, and note the correct version. Review this journal regularly to track your progress and celebrate how much you've improved over time. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities can improve with effort and practice. This mindset is crucial for language learners because it helps you focus on progress rather than perfection. What does a growth mindset look like? Fixed mindset. I'll never be fluent because I'm not good at languages. Growth mindset. I'm not fluent yet, but every day I'm getting better. How to cultivate a growth mindset. Set realistic expectations. Understand that fluency is a journey, not a destination. Celebrate small wins along the way. Focus on progress, not comparison. Instead of comparing yourself to native speakers or advanced learners, compare yourself to where you were a month ago. Replace negative self-talk. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm terrible at this," replace it with, "I'm learning, and every effort counts." Early in my English learning journey, I used to dread speaking in front of others because I was afraid of being judged. But one day, a mentor told me, the only way to learn a language is to speak it, mistakes and all. That advice stuck with me. I began focusing on what I could learn from each conversation instead of worrying about being perfect. Slowly but surely my confidence grew. Confidence doesn't come from waiting until you're ready. It comes from doing. The more you practice using English, the more comfortable and confident you'll become. Practical ways to practice. Start small. Begin with low-pressure situations, like practicing with a language app or speaking to yourself in the mirror. Join a safe community. Participate in language exchange groups or online forums where everyone is learning, and mistakes are welcomed. Simulate real-life scenarios. Role-play common situations, like ordering food or asking for directions. Challenge yourself gradually. As your confidence grows, push yourself to take on bigger challenges like joining a conversation club, giving a short presentation in English, speaking with native speakers during travel or online. Fluency isn't about knowing every word or never making mistakes. It's about effectively communicating your thoughts. Even native speakers make errors, stumble over words, or pause to think. What matters is getting your message across. Tips for prioritizing communication. Simplify your sentences. Use straightforward language to express yourself clearly. Use gestures and context clues. If you're struggling to find a word, use gestures or describe what you mean. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're unsure how to say something, ask the person you're speaking with. They'll usually be happy to assist. I once found myself in a situation where I needed to explain a complicated idea, but didn't know the exact words in English. Instead of panicking, I broke it down into simple terms and used examples to illustrate my point. The person I was speaking to understood perfectly and even complimented me on my creativity. Confidence flourishes in a supportive environment. Surrounding yourself with positive influences can make a world of difference. Build a support network. Find encouraging friends or mentors. Seek out people who uplift you and celebrate your progress. Join a learning community. Engage with others who share your goals, whether through language classes, online groups, or local meetups. Avoid negativity. Distance yourself from individuals or environments that make you feel discouraged or judged. Use affirmations to boost your confidence. Start each day with affirmations like, "I am improving my English every day. I have the courage to communicate in English. Mistakes are part of my success story." Finally, don't forget to acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Celebrating your progress reinforces your confidence and motivates you to keep going. Ways to celebrate. Track your milestones. Keep a journal of your accomplishments, like the first time you held a conversation entirely in English or finished reading a book without translations. Reward yourself. Treat yourself to something special when you reach a goal, whether it's a favorite meal, a new book, or a day off to relax. Share your success. Tell friends, family, or your learning community about your progress. It feels great to be recognized for your hard work. Passive learning involves receiving information without significant engagement, such as watching a video or reading a textbook. While this is helpful for exposure, it's only half the battle. To truly retain and apply what you learn, you need to actively participate in the process. Why active participation matters? It strengthens memory. Engaging with content by taking notes, summarizing, or practicing helps transfer knowledge from short-term to long-term memory. It builds confidence. The more you actively use English, the more comfortable you'll feel in real conversations. It encourages creativity. Interactive engagement pushes you to think critically and creatively about how to express yourself. How to make learning active. Ask questions. While watching a video or reading an article, pause to ask yourself questions like, how would I say this in my own words? Or, how does this idea relate to my life? Summarize in English. After learning something new, summarize it aloud or in writing. This reinforces understanding and encourages fluency. Teach someone else. Explaining what you've learned to a friend or study partner helps solidify your knowledge. Gamification turns learning into a game, making it more enjoyable and less intimidating. It taps into your natural desire for achievement, competition, and rewards. Examples of gamification tools. Language apps. Platforms like Duolingo, Memrise, or Quizlet use points, streaks, and badges to make learning fun and addictive. Flashcards. Create digital or physical flashcards with rewards for every set you master. Challenges. Set personal challenges, like learning 10 new words a day or completing a chapter of an English book each week. Create your own reward system. Motivate yourself with a simple reward system. For example, if you complete a week of consistent practice, treat yourself to a favorite activity. Earn points for each task you complete and exchange them for rewards, like a movie night or a special meal. The internet is a treasure trove of English language content. By engaging with diverse media, you can practice listening, reading, and critical thinking skills while exploring topics you love. Interactive ways to engage. Watch videos with subtitles. Start with subtitles in your native language. Then switch to English subtitles as your skills improve. Pause frequently to repeat phrases or write down new words. Listen to podcasts. Choose topics that interest you and challenge yourself to summarize what you hear. Read actively. Highlight unfamiliar words. Take notes and write down questions while reading books, articles, or blog posts. Bonus tip: shadowing technique. The shadowing technique involves mimicking a speaker's pronunciation and intonation while listening to them. Play a podcast or video, pause after each sentence, and try to repeat it exactly as the speaker says it. This technique improves listening comprehension, pronunciation, and fluency. Role-playing is a powerful tool for building confidence and practicing real-life conversations. It allows you to experiment with vocabulary, phrases, and expressions in a safe, controlled environment. How to role-play effectively. Choose a scenario. Select situations you're likely to encounter, such as ordering food, asking for directions, or having a job interview. Prepare key phrases. Write down essential phrases and rehearse them. For example, could you please recommend a dish? Or, where is the nearest train station? Act it out. Play both roles yourself or partner with a friend. Practice the dialogue repeatedly until it feels natural. Simulated conversations online. If you don't have a practice partner, use AI-powered language apps or online communities to simulate conversations. Some platforms even offer virtual reality scenarios where you can practice speaking in immersive settings. Learning a language is more enjoyable and effective when shared with others. By joining a community of English learners or speakers, you'll gain motivation, feedback, and valuable opportunities to practice. Ways to connect with others. Language exchange platforms. Apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, or conversation exchange connect you with native speakers who want to learn your language in return. Join English clubs. Participate in local or online English clubs where members practice speaking and share tips. Attend meetups or events. Look for events in your area, such as book clubs, movie nights, or workshops conducted in English. Build lasting relationships. Forming friendships with fellow learners or native speakers keeps you accountable and makes the journey more enjoyable. Share your progress, celebrate wins, and encourage each other during challenges. Engagement isn't just about doing, it's about thinking critically about what works for you and adjusting your approach. Reflection helps you stay on track, identify strengths and weaknesses, and make continuous improvements. Joining a conversation club. Giving a short presentation in English. Speaking with native speakers during travel or online. Fluency isn't about knowing every word or never making mistakes. It's about effectively communicating your thoughts. Even native speakers make errors, stumble over words, or pause to think. What matters is getting your message across. Tips for prioritizing communication. Simplify your sentences. Use straightforward language to express yourself clearly. Use gestures and context clues. If you're struggling to find a word, use gestures or describe what you mean. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're unsure how to say something, ask the person you're speaking with. They'll usually be happy to assist. I once found myself in a situation where I needed to explain a complicated idea, but didn't know the exact words in English. Instead of panicking, I broke it down into simple terms and used examples to illustrate my point. The person I was speaking to understood perfectly, and even complimented me on my creativity. Confidence flourishes in a supportive environment. Surrounding yourself with positive influences can make a world of difference. Build a support network. Find encouraging friends or mentors. Seek out people who uplift you and celebrate your progress. Join a learning community. Engage with others who share your goals, whether through language classes, online groups, or local meetups. Avoid negativity. Distance yourself from individuals or environments that make you feel discouraged or judged. Use affirmations to boost your confidence. Start each day with affirmations like, I am improving my English every day. I have the courage to communicate in English. Mistakes are part of my success story. Finally, don't forget to acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Celebrating your progress reinforces your confidence and motivates you to keep going. Ways to celebrate. Track your milestones. Keep a journal of your accomplishments, like the first time you held a conversation entirely in English or finished reading a book without translations. Reward yourself. Treat yourself to something special when you reach a goal, whether it's a favorite meal, a new book, or a day off to art. Reflection techniques. Keep a language journal. Document what you learned each day, how you felt, and what you want to improve. Set weekly goals. At the beginning of each week, outline specific measurable objectives, such as mastering a new grammar rule or practicing a specific skill. Review and adjust. At the end of the week, evaluate your progress and tweak your methods if needed. Real-life example. Adapting my study routine. When I first started learning English, I focused heavily on grammar exercises, but neglected speaking practice. After reflecting on my lack of progress in real conversations, I shifted my focus to daily speaking exercises and role-playing. This simple change had a dramatic impact on my fluency and confidence. Feedback is essential for growth. It helps you identify areas for improvement and reinforces what you're doing well. Actively seek feedback from others to enhance your learning process. How to get feedback. Ask a teacher or mentor. Enroll in an English course or hire a tutor who can provide personalized guidance. Record yourself, record your speaking practice, and listen to identify pronunciation or grammatical errors. Engage with peers. Practice with fellow learners and exchange constructive feedback. Be open to criticism. Remember, feedback isn't criticism. It's a tool for improvement. Approach it with an open mind. and don't let negative comments discourage you. Step 8. Stay curious and have fun. Finally, make engagement fun. Learning English doesn't have to feel like a chore. Approach it with curiosity, excitement, and a sense of adventure. Fun ways to stay engaged. Play word games. Enjoy Scrabble, crossword puzzles, or word searches to expand your vocabulary. Watch English shows you love. Choose series or movies that interest you and immerse yourself in the story while picking up new phrases. Sing along to songs. Learn the lyrics to your favorite English songs and practice singing them. Embrace the journey. Every moment you spend engaging with English brings you closer to fluency. Embrace the challenges and celebrate the joys of discovering a new language. Imagine this. You're trying to have a conversation in English, but halfway through, you freeze because you forget a word. Embarrassing, right? Or is it? What if instead of seeing this as a failure, you viewed it as a valuable moment to identify what you need to learn? Setbacks are not roadblocks. They're signals pointing out areas where you can improve. Changing how you perceive challenges can transform your learning experience. Instead of thinking, "I'm not good at this," think, "This is where I need to grow." Practical steps to reframe setbacks. Celebrate mistakes. Each mistake is proof that you're trying. Keep a journal where you note down errors and what you learned from them. Adopt a growth mindset. Believe that your abilities can improve with effort and practice. Remind yourself that fluency is a journey, not a destination. Focus on progress, not perfection. Celebrate small wins, like understanding a new word or completing a practice session, rather than fixating on perfect grammar. Real-life example. One of my first attempts at public speaking in English was a disaster. I mispronounced words, forgot key points, and felt humiliated. But instead of giving up, I recorded the speech, analyzed what went wrong, and practiced every day for 2 weeks. The next time I wasn't perfect, but I was better, and that's what mattered. Why consistency matters. Learning English is like planting a tree. You can't water it once a month and expect it to grow. Daily care and attention are essential for progress. Resilience comes from creating habits that make learning a non-negotiable part of your routine. How to stay consistent. Create a study schedule. Decide on specific times each day to practice, even if it's just 15 minutes. Consistency is more important than the amount of time you spend. Track your progress. Use a notebook or app to record what you've learned each day. Seeing your growth over time will motivate you to keep going. Set realistic goals. Break big goals into smaller, manageable tasks. For example, instead of saying, "I'll master English in 6 months," aim for, "I'll learn 10 new words this week." Overcoming common challenges. I don't have time. Integrate English into your daily life. Listen to podcasts during your commute or read an article during lunch breaks. I'm not seeing results. Progress often feels invisible in the short term. Trust the process and remind yourself that even small efforts compound over time. The frustration cycle. Frustration often strikes when you feel stuck. When the words won't come, the grammar feels impossible, or you keep making the same mistakes. It's tempting to give up, but frustration is a signal that your brain is grappling with something new. How to manage frustration. Take a break. Sometimes stepping away for a short time can refresh your mind. Go for a walk, listen to music, or do something you enjoy before returning to your practice. Break down the problem. If grammar rules are overwhelming, focus on one rule at a time. If speaking feels hard, practice one phrase repeatedly until it feels natural. Seek help. Don't hesitate to ask for support. Join forums, watch explainer videos, or work with a tutor to clarify your doubts. Turn frustration into motivation. Whenever you feel stuck, remind yourself of why you started. Visualize the moment you'll confidently hold a conversation or achieve your goals. Let that vision drive you forward. Learning from role models. Sometimes the best way to overcome challenges is to look at those who've faced similar struggles and succeeded. Hearing about others' journeys can inspire you to push through your own difficulties. Where to find inspiration? Books and biographies. Read stories of people who've learned English as a second language and how it transformed their lives. Online communities. Join groups or forums where learners share their experiences and celebrate milestones. Social media. Follow influencers or teachers who share motivational content and practical tips. Real-life story. A friend of mine moved to an English-speaking country with almost no prior knowledge of the language. She struggled for months, but stayed committed to daily practice, using flashcards and speaking with strangers. Today, she works in an English-speaking job and confidently gives presentations. Her journey reminds me that persistence pays off. Gamify the challenge. Remember when we discussed gamification earlier? Let's take it a step further. When facing setbacks, turning challenges into games can make them feel less daunting. Examples of gamified challenges. Compete with yourself. Set a personal best for how many new words you can learn in a week. Then try to beat it. Create rewards. Earn points for each task you complete, like practicing for 15 minutes or reading a chapter of a book. Involve friends. Challenge a friend to a vocabulary quiz or speaking contest. The psychology of play. When you approach learning with a sense of play, it reduces stress and makes the process enjoyable. You're more likely to stay engaged and motivated, even during tough times. The importance of purpose. Your why is the reason you decided to learn English in the first place. It could be for a job, travel, personal growth, or connecting with people. When challenges arise, reconnecting with your purpose can reignite your motivation. How to stay connected to your why. Visualize your goal. Picture yourself speaking fluently, writing confidently, or achieving your dream. Write it down. Keep a note in your study area reminding you of your purpose. Celebrate milestones. Recognize every step forward, no matter how small. Each milestone is proof that you're moving closer to your goal. The role of community in resilience. Having a support network can make all the difference when setbacks feel overwhelming. Surround yourself with people who encourage and inspire you, whether they're friends, mentors, or fellow learners. How to build your network. Join online groups. Platforms like Reddit, Facebook, or Discord have communities dedicated to English learners. Attend language meetups. Look for local events where you can practice and meet like-minded individuals. Find an accountability partner. Pair up with someone who shares your goals and keep each other motivated. The importance of patience. Learning English is a marathon, not a sprint. It's easy to feel discouraged when progress feels slow, but remember that every effort counts. Trust the process and focus on how far you've come, not just how far you have to go. Track your growth. Review old notes. Look back at earlier lessons to see how much you've improved. Record your voice. Listen to recordings from months ago to hear the difference in your pronunciation and fluency. Celebrate long-term wins. Recognize achievements like finishing a book, holding a conversation, or acing a test. Language immersion. The concept of immersion is widely recognized as one of the most effective ways to learn a language. But you don't need to move to an English-speaking country to immerse yourself. Immersion is about surrounding yourself with the language wherever you are. How to create your own immersion experience. Listen to English every day. Whether it's music, podcasts, or audiobooks, make English a part of your day. Try listening to something that interests you, like a topic you're passionate about, so you don't get bored. Change your devices to English. Change the language on your phone, computer, and social media accounts to English. This simple step will make you constantly interact with the language in an organic way. Watch English TV shows and movies. Instead of just watching for entertainment, actively listen for new vocabulary, phrases, and sentence structures. Try turning on subtitles in English to reinforce what you're hearing. Read in English. Whether it's news articles, blogs, or fiction, reading exposes you to different styles of writing and helps build vocabulary. Start with simple material and work your way up as you improve. Immersion is not about just hearing English in the background. It's about actively engaging with the language. The power of speaking. It's easy to hide behind textbooks or apps and feel like you're making progress, but speaking is where the magic happens. No matter how much grammar you know or how many words you can recognize, the real test of your English skills is whether or not you can hold a conversation. How to start speaking. Practice speaking with yourself. If you don't have anyone to talk to, don't let that stop you. Try speaking out loud to yourself. This can be as simple as narrating your day or talking about your thoughts. You'll become more comfortable with the rhythm of English and start using new vocabulary. Find a speaking partner. One of the most effective ways to practice is with a language partner. There are many platforms where you can meet people who want to practice English, whether they're native speakers or other learners. Set up regular conversations to keep your speaking skills sharp. Join language meetups or events. Look for local or online meetups for language learners. These events provide a low-pressure environment to practice speaking and meet other people learning English. Use language apps for speaking. Apps like HelloTalk or Tandem are great for practicing speaking. These apps connect you with people around the world and provide opportunities to engage in conversations. Overcoming the fear of speaking. One of the biggest obstacles people face when trying to speak English is the fear of making mistakes. But let me tell you, making mistakes is part of the process. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Remember, language is about communication, not perfection. The goal is to get your message across, not to speak flawlessly. Every time you speak, you're improving. So, embrace mistakes and learn from them. Why follow English content creators? One of the most powerful ways to improve your English is by engaging with content creators. This can be YouTubers, bloggers, social media influencers, or even educators. Why? Because they often speak in a more natural, conversational way, giving you a real-world context for the language. How to use content creators to your advantage. Follow English YouTubers or podcasters. Follow content creators who speak at your level or just slightly above it. This allows you to gradually improve your listening skills. Pick creators whose topics interest you. This will make the learning process enjoyable. Engage in the comment section. Engaging in discussions under videos or posts allows you to practice writing and understanding conversational English. Try responding in English and read through the comments to see how others express themselves. Learn from their pronunciation and vocabulary. Pay close attention to how they pronounce words and the vocabulary they use. Mimicking their speech patterns can help you speak more naturally. Finding the right content for you. When choosing which content creators to follow, it's important to pick creators who match your learning goals. If you want to improve your pronunciation, look for YouTubers who focus on that. If you're looking to expand your vocabulary, follow creators who discuss a wide range of topics. Why writing is essential. While speaking helps you with communication, writing allows you to solidify your understanding of grammar and sentence structure. It also gives you a space to organize your thoughts and experiment with new words and phrases. How to incorporate writing into your routine. Start a journal. Write in English every day, even if it's just a few sentences. This will help you practice sentence structure, vocabulary, and grammar. Write short stories or articles. Challenge yourself to write longer pieces like short stories or essays. Start small, then gradually increase the length as you improve. Get feedback. Share your writing with others, whether online or with a language partner, and ask for feedback. This will help you identify areas for improvement and keep you motivated. Writing also helps you internalize what you've learned. It forces you to recall and use new vocabulary and grammar rules actively. The power of accountability. One of the biggest challenges in language learning is staying motivated. Having a study buddy, someone to check in with and share progress with, can make a huge difference. How to find a study buddy. Language exchange. Use platforms like Tandem, HelloTalk, or language exchange forums to find a study buddy. Partner with someone who's learning your native language so you can help each other. Create a learning group. If you're learning English with friends or in a class, create a group chat to share resources, tips, and study schedules. Set up weekly goals. Work together with your study buddy to set goals and check in regularly to make sure you're both staying on track. Why accountability works. Having someone else to share the journey with not only keeps you motivated, but also makes the learning process more fun. You're more likely to stick to your study routine if someone else is relying on you. Push yourself to use English in new situations. At this point in your learning journey, it's time to break free from the safe zones you've built for yourself. Speaking in familiar situations, like with a study partner, is great, but to really see progress, you need to use English in new and unfamiliar contexts. How to step out of your comfort zone. Speak to strangers. Don't be afraid to strike up a conversation with a stranger in English. It could be at a cafe, in a store, or even on an online forum. Participate in online discussions. Engage in online discussions in English. Whether it's a forum or a group chat, these platforms provide opportunities to practice your English in more informal settings. Travel or attend English-speaking events. If possible, attend conferences, workshops, or even travel to English-speaking countries. These real-world experiences will help you practice English in varied and real-world contexts. Why pushing yourself works. When you step outside of your comfort zone, you accelerate your learning. You're forced to adapt, learn new expressions, and think on your feet. These experiences teach you practical, real-world English that textbooks can't provide. Consistency over time. Finally, the most important thing to remember is that learning English is not a short-term goal. It's a lifelong skill. Once you've reached a level of fluency, continue practicing and challenging yourself. How to keep improving after reaching fluency. Keep engaging with new content. Continue reading books, watching videos, and speaking in English to maintain and build upon your skills. Take advanced courses. Even after you've reached a high level of fluency, consider taking advanced language courses to refine your skills further. Teach others. Teaching others what you've learned is one of the best ways to reinforce your own knowledge. Consider tutoring or helping others in their language learning journey. Conclusion. Becoming fluent in English is not about perfection, it's about progress. By immersing yourself in the language, speaking regularly, engaging with English content creators, writing, and continually stepping out of your comfort zone, you will not only master. Now we've reached the moment that will change everything, the climax of our journey. All the steps we've discussed, all the habits we've developed, have led us to this pivotal point. This is where you start to truly transform your relationship with English. No more struggling, no more wondering if you're ever going to get better. This moment is the turning point, the key that unlocks the door to true fluency. And the most amazing part? It's not about working harder or trying to cram more rules into your head. It's about something much more powerful, embracing a mindset shift. The power of mindset. How your mindset impacts your progress. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about language learning is missing one key ingredient? It's not about working harder, memorizing more words, or learning more grammar rules. It's about believing in yourself and your ability to improve. Your mindset is everything. Here's why this is such a game changer. The way you think about learning English can directly affect how successful you are. If you approach it with the belief that learning English is a never-ending struggle, it will feel like an uphill battle. But if you shift your mindset to one of growth and possibility, everything changes. It's all about understanding that you are capable of achieving fluency. If you're willing to put in the effort and stay consistent, the rewards will come. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress every single day. Mindset shift. From I can't to I can. Many learners hit a wall when they start thinking they'll never be able to speak English fluently. The feeling of frustration starts to creep in. I've been learning for months, even years, and I'm still not fluent. It's easy to get stuck in that negative cycle. But what if you could change your perspective? Imagine if you could shift from I can't to I can. Instead of thinking, I'll never be able to speak fluently, imagine saying, I will improve every day, even if it's just a little bit at a time. This shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset will make all the difference. Research has shown that people with a growth mindset are more likely to succeed in learning new skills, including languages. When you focus on learning, not perfection, and understand that every mistake is part of the process, you'll find it easier to stay motivated. The key to confidence. Confidence comes from action, not perfection. Have you ever heard someone say, I'll only speak when I feel more confident? It sounds logical, right? But here's the reality. Confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from acting. The more you speak, the more confident you become. Think about it. The first time you rode a bike, you probably weren't confident at all. You fell, you wobbled, you were unsure of yourself. But after each attempt, you got a little better. With each pedal, you gained more control, more stability, and eventually, you were riding smoothly. Language learning works the same way. You won't feel confident in English until you put yourself out there. The more you speak, the better you get. So, don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect skill level. Get out there and speak now. Your confidence will follow. What confidence looks like in English learning. Confidence in English doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. It doesn't mean you'll never be nervous. Confidence is about being okay with mistakes, embracing the learning process, and trusting that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. When you speak English, even if you hesitate or make a mistake, it's okay. The key is to keep going. The more you practice, the more confident you become. Every time you speak, you're moving closer to fluency, and that's something to be proud of. The secret to long-term success. Consistency over perfection. So far, you've learned that the real secret to mastering English is consistency. It's not about working yourself to the point of burnout or trying to memorize every word in a dictionary. It's about making learning a habit, something that becomes a natural part of your day. Think about how you take care of your physical health. You don't work out for a week and then stop for 6 months, right? You work out consistently, even if it's just a few minutes each day. The same principle applies to language learning. The real key to success is committing to small, consistent actions every day. Whether it's reading, speaking, writing, or listening, it's those small steps that will add up over time. Eventually, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. The power of small habits. Daily habits make all the difference. When you think about long-term success, it can feel overwhelming. Fluency seems so far away, but don't let that discourage you. The secret to reaching fluency is focusing on daily habits, not huge leaps. Imagine if you just spent 15 minutes a day learning English. That's just a fraction of your day, barely any time at all. But in a month, that's 7.5 hours of practice. In a year, that's over 90 hours of learning. And that's just 15 minutes a day. The most successful learners aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who show up consistently, the ones who dedicate time to learning every day, even if it's just a little. Your daily English routine. Building a routine doesn't mean you need to spend hours a day studying. It means finding ways to weave English practice into your daily life, no matter how busy you are. Here's an example of a simple routine. Morning. Listen to a podcast or watch a video in English for 10 to 15 minutes. During the day, use English in everyday situations. Practice speaking to yourself or with a partner. Evening. Write a short journal entry or review new words you learned. By consistently sticking to small, manageable habits like this, you'll start seeing big improvements in your language skills. Your turning point. Your first big win. Now let's go back to the idea of the turning point. This is where your journey shifts. All of a sudden, you start seeing the results of your hard work. Maybe it's a conversation where you can speak confidently in English for the first time. Maybe it's understanding a TV show without subtitles. Whatever it is, this is the moment you realize that your efforts are paying off. You've crossed over from struggling with English to becoming comfortable and confident. You're no longer just learning English, you're using it. And that, my friend, is the magic of language mastery. The big reveal. The key to fluency is... So, what is the big reveal? What's the secret that will unlock your English fluency? The key to fluency is simple: never stop. It's about embracing a mindset of growth, taking consistent action every day, and trusting that fluency is a result of time and effort. No shortcuts, no quick fixes, just steady progress. Once you shift your mindset, build habits, and stay consistent, fluency will no longer be a distant dream. It will be your reality. You have everything you need to succeed. Now it's just about taking that next step and believing in yourself. The journey isn't over yet, it's just beginning. But you're already on the right track. Keep going, keep learning, and keep growing. Fluency is within your reach. Now that you've learned the key to transforming your English learning journey, it's time to apply everything we've discussed. In this section, we're going to focus on how to turn all the strategies, insights, and mindset shifts into a concrete, actionable plan that you can follow every day. The key to long-term success lies in consistency, but more importantly, it's about implementing these actions effectively. This section will give you a step-by-step framework to follow, so you can take control of your English learning and start seeing real, measurable progress. No more vague advice or unstructured tips. We're going to break down exactly what you need to do to create your path to fluency. 1. Set clear, achievable goals. The first step in your action plan is to set clear, measurable goals. If you don't know where you're headed, it's easy to get lost along the way. So, before diving into practice, take some time to define your purpose for learning English. What is your ultimate goal? Do you want to be able to have a conversation with native speakers? Is it your goal to travel confidently and understand everything around you? Are you focused on improving your professional opportunities? Or maybe you want to study in an English-speaking country. Once you know your bigger goal, break it down into smaller, actionable steps. Setting a long-term goal is great, but the real progress happens when you focus on smaller, short-term goals that you can tackle every day. For example, if your goal is to be fluent in conversation, break it down into milestones like: learn 100 new words in 2 weeks, master 3 key grammar structures in a month, have a 5-minute conversation in English without feeling nervous in 1 month. By focusing on these smaller steps, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment as you tick each goal off the list. This sense of progress will motivate you to keep going and will give you the confidence you need to keep moving forward. 2. Build a daily English practice routine. To make real progress, you need to make English a part of your daily life. This doesn't mean you need to spend hours every day studying. Instead, focus on creating small, sustainable habits that you can do consistently. Here's a sample daily English practice routine that you can adapt to fit your lifestyle. Morning. Start your day in English. Listen to a podcast or an audiobook in English while you get ready in the morning. This can be a 10 to 15-minute habit. Focus on listening to different accents, dialects, and topics to expose yourself to various forms of the language. Review vocabulary or phrases from the previous day's practice. Repeat them aloud to reinforce memory. Midday, practice speaking and writing. Speak to yourself in English for 5 minutes. For example, describe your day, talk about something you're looking forward to, or explain something you learned recently. Don't worry about making mistakes, just practice speaking fluently. Write a journal entry or a short story in English. Write for 10 minutes about anything that comes to mind. This is great for reinforcing vocabulary and improving your sentence structure. Evening. Reflect and learn. Read for 15 to 20 minutes in English. Choose a book article or something that interests you. If you come across new words, take a note of them and try to use them in your speech or writing. Review grammar or learn a new structure. Spend 10 to 15 minutes practicing something new. This could be a tense, a common expression, or even something like phrasal verbs or idioms. This routine only takes around 45 to 60 minutes each day, but will make a significant difference over time. The key is consistency. You don't have to make huge sacrifices, just commit to practicing every day. 3. Create real-world English opportunities. One of the most important aspects of language learning is real-world practice. You can study grammar, vocabulary, and even listen to podcasts all day long. But nothing will compare to actually using English in real-life situations. Here are a few ways you can create these opportunities. Use language exchange platforms. Platforms like Tandem, HelloTalk, or Speaky are great tools for connecting with native speakers or other learners. Schedule regular sessions with someone to practice speaking and receive feedback. Even if you're nervous at first, the more you practice, the easier it will become. Join online communities. Find online groups, forums, or social media communities where you can practice writing in English. Reddit, Discord, and Facebook have many language exchange groups that are friendly and welcoming to learners. Watch movies and TV shows in English. This is one of the best ways to improve your listening skills and expand your vocabulary. Try watching with subtitles in English first, then challenge yourself by watching without them. This exposes you to natural speech and idiomatic expressions you may not encounter in textbooks. Speak to yourself. If you're unable to find a language partner immediately, don't let that stop you. Speak to yourself in English whenever you can. Narrate your day, describe your surroundings, or express your thoughts out loud. You'd be surprised how much this improves fluency. 4. Track your progress. If you're not tracking your progress, it can feel like you're not improving. But tracking small milestones can give you the boost of motivation you need to keep going. Here's how to track your progress. Keep a language learning journal. Every day, jot down a few sentences about your progress. What did you learn? What words did you struggle with? What did you enjoy most about your practice today? By writing it down, you'll reflect on your growth and stay motivated. Track new vocabulary. Use apps like Anki Memrise or Quizlet to build and review your vocabulary. Create flashcards with new words or phrases and review them regularly. Record your speaking. Sometimes, it's hard to notice your own progress when you're in the middle of learning. But by recording yourself speaking every couple of weeks, you can listen back and see how much you've improved. 5. Stay motivated and consistent. Staying motivated throughout your language learning journey can be challenging, especially when progress seems slow. But remember, consistency is the key. Set milestones and reward yourself. Set small milestones and reward yourself when you hit them. For example, if you finish a language book or complete a month of daily practice, treat yourself to something you enjoy, a nice meal, a movie night, or a new book. Find a learning buddy. Having a friend or a study partner can help you stay motivated. You can practice together, set goals, and keep each other accountable. Join challenges. Many online communities and apps offer language challenges to help keep you motivated. Whether it's a 30-day speaking challenge or a vocabulary building goal, these challenges create a sense of urgency and excitement. 6. Embrace mistakes as part of the journey. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. If you're not making mistakes, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. So, instead of feeling discouraged when you make an error, embrace it. Mistakes are opportunities to improve. Every mistake teaches you something new. Each error helps you refine your understanding and strengthen your skills. Don't shy away from challenges. Take them head on. And remember that fluency is a journey, not a destination. The more you push through your doubts and fears, the more you'll improve. 7. Keep going. At the end of the day, the best thing you can do for yourself is to keep going. Even if some days feel harder than others, trust that progress is happening. Sometimes it's the quiet, consistent effort that yields the most incredible results. As you continue to apply these steps, setting clear goals, building your daily routine, seeking real-world practice, tracking progress, staying motivated, and embracing mistakes, you'll find that fluency isn't an unreachable dream. It's something you're actively creating every day. Conclusion: English fluency doesn't happen overnight, but with a clear action plan and a mindset of persistence, you will get there. This action plan is your roadmap to success, and as long as you stay consistent, stay motivated, and believe in yourself, you'll achieve your goals. Congratulations on making it to the final part of this transformative journey. By now, you have learned not only the crucial habit that changed my English, but also how you can replicate the same success in your own learning path. Before we conclude, let's take a moment to reflect on everything you've absorbed, and I'll leave you with some powerful next steps to keep the momentum going. Recap of key points. First, let's review the most important takeaways from this script. We've covered several significant strategies to help you improve your English every day. These steps are simple but powerful, and when you apply them consistently, you'll see meaningful progress. The power of daily practice. We started by talking about the importance of practicing English every day. One of the most valuable habits I adopted was committing to just 15 to 30 minutes of practice daily. You don't need to spend hours studying. What matters is consistent, intentional practice. Whether it's reading, writing, speaking, or listening, daily practice is essential. Building consistency through small, achievable goals. Consistency isn't just about showing up every day. It's about making sure you're moving in the right direction. By setting clear, manageable goals, like mastering 10 new words a week or reading a short article every day, you can track your progress and stay motivated. The sense of accomplishment from small wins builds up over time, pushing you further toward fluency. Turning mistakes into opportunities. Another key point we discussed was how to embrace mistakes as a natural part of the learning process. Learning a language means stepping out of your comfort zone, and errors are proof that you're trying and improving. So, don't fear making mistakes. Instead, see them as learning opportunities that refine your skills and help you grow. Real-world English practice. In this section, we talked about integrating English into your everyday life. Watching English movies, listening to podcasts, and speaking to yourself in English are simple yet effective ways to immerse yourself in the language. The more real-world exposure you get, the more natural your skills will become. Tracking your progress. We also explored how important it is to track your progress. When you record your speaking, note down new vocabulary, and reflect on how far you've come, you stay motivated and understand your strengths and areas for improvement. Seeing progress, no matter how small, helps you stay committed to your learning journey. Setting up a practice routine. Creating a routine and sticking to it is perhaps one of the most important habits we touched on. With the right plan in place, you'll know exactly how to spend your time and what actions to take. Whether it's reviewing your vocabulary in the morning, speaking with a partner in the afternoon, or writing a journal entry in the evening, having a structure ensures that you never lose sight of your goals. A final push, the path to fluency. By now you should have everything you need to succeed. But there's one last thing I want to share with you: the importance of perseverance. Learning English, or any language for that matter, isn't a sprint. It's a marathon, and there will be days when you feel like giving up, when progress seems slow, or when you're struggling to find the right words. However, I promise you that every moment of practice counts. Even when you feel like you're not improving, you are. The fluency you desire is not a distant dream. It's something that's happening with every word you learn, every conversation you have, and every hour you dedicate to improvement. So, the next time you feel frustrated or overwhelmed, take a step back and remember the bigger picture. It's the little steps, the tiny efforts, that build up to incredible progress over time. Keep pushing forward and don't let setbacks discourage you. Your journey is uniquely yours, and every challenge you overcome will only make you stronger. Take action today. Now, it's time to take action. Don't let this be just another motivational video you watch. Instead, Use everything we've talked about to create a plan that works for you. Here's your call to action. Set your first goal. Sit down and write down one goal that you want to accomplish this week. Make it something realistic and achievable, like learning 20 new words or practicing speaking for 10 minutes every day. Create a daily routine. Look back at the daily practice routine we discussed earlier and pick 3 to 5 activities that you'll commit to doing every day. Remember, consistency is key. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start practicing today. Even if it's just for 15 minutes, doing something is far better than doing nothing. Track your progress. Write in a journal or create a checklist to track your progress. Seeing your growth will motivate you to continue and help you understand what works best for you. Engage with others. Find a language exchange partner, join an online community, or even talk to yourself in English. The more you practice speaking and writing in real-life situations, the faster you'll improve. Your success is just around the corner. I know that learning English might seem like a long and difficult journey, but I'm here to tell you that the finish line is closer than you think. Every single effort you make today will compound and bring you closer to fluency. What seems impossible now will be something you look back on with pride in the future. Don't forget, consistency, patience, and practice are your best friends on this journey. And remember, I believe in your ability to succeed. If I could do it, so can you. Just take it one step at a time. Let's keep this journey going. I would love to hear about your progress. Join the conversation by leaving a comment below about your language learning goals or any struggles you're facing. Feel free to share your successes too, as it will inspire others who are on the same path. And of course, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more helpful tips and motivation on your English learning journey. Hit the like button if this video gave you the push you needed, and share it with a friend who might also benefit from this journey. Thank you so much for joining me today, and remember, your future fluent self is just one step away. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and most importantly, enjoy the process. Let's make English part of your everyday life and turn it into a habit that changes everything for you. I can't wait to hear about your progress in the comments. You've got this. Final words of motivation. As you embark on your path toward fluency, remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every word you learn and every conversation you have brings you closer to your goals. So embrace the process, enjoy the little victories, and keep striving to improve every single day. Your journey is uniquely yours, and every step you take will shape your future success in English. Now, go ahead and take that first step. The future of your English learning journey starts right here, right now. I believe in you,